Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
And I'm Cathrine, co-host and bestie.
Hey, Cathrine.
Hi, Trace.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're just returning. I know that our listeners don't know that, but we're just returning from a wonderful trip that we had.
Yeah, it was nice.
To Franklin, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cute little town.
I loved that town.
Me too.
Yeah, that town was charming. It had a lot to offer.
And it was a buzz. Like, there were people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was delightful.
But not busy in a...
not like a bad way.
Yeah,
no.
Chaotic, kind of hectic, harried way.
No, it was just like people out and about.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a blast. Franciscan Health had us in. They sponsored the Tickled Pink event where I provided comedy.
Yeah.
At the Historic Art Craft Theater, which
Yeah.
was just a riot. It was so great.
Yeah. Great team of gals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we enjoyed all of that. And the night was a breast cancer awareness event, which was great. So I always love doing those.
Yeah, you did a great job inspiring people to
Thank
stay
you.
current on their screenings.
That's right, ladies listening. If you haven't had a mammogram, get in there, girl. You got to get after that. All right. Well, let's get back to what we're talking about, because we discussed this podcast while we were traveling to and from Franklin, so that was part of our prep. And today's topic is journaling.
Yeah.
And I just love this topic because I like to journal, and I have always liked to journal since I was a young person.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Catherine's got her little diary from the 70s. And it kind of looks like a little Holly Hobby on the front.
Right.
You know, with the little kerchief hat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the thing is falling apart, and it has a lock on it.
It's hilarious.
Like, these are
I know.
my secrets.
And, I was always like, lock it up. This is my private stuff. And,
Hands off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
And then
Possessive.
I have a duplicate, a copy of my mother's diary from 1967 to 1969.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have my mom's here, too, from 1962.
So this is what we're going to talk about today, friends, is about journaling and keeping like our little thoughts. And we've got 3 takeaways like we always do for our podcast. And the first one is, why is journaling a good practice? We're going to talk about that. And secondly, we're going to kind of just go over like how to get started. What do you do if you want to start a journal? What do you do? And finally, we're going to talk about our own stories and dive in a little bit to these journals. We've had a good time here before we turned on pressed record. We were just laughing about different things that my mom wrote about me and that Cathrine wrote when she was little.
Yeah.
It's just funny. All right. And then, of course, at the end, just like always, we're going to have a little bit of spiritual encouragement. So stay tuned all the way to the end because you don't want to miss those little golden nuggets. And we have a sponsor. And who is that, Cathrine?
Puffin.
Who's Puffin?
Puffin is
R?
Yeah.
Use proper grammar.
Right.
Puffin R.
Our husbands.
That's right.
Ron and Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And Ron is your guy, Muffin. And Kenny's mine, Pooh. Together. They call themselves Puffin.
Puffin, yeah. They're great friends
Yeah.
and neighbors and have been for years, just like us. And without them, we wouldn't have this podcast because we would have to get a J-O-B.
Yeah.
Which Catherine's in the final stretch
of the one I have.
Right. So she's had this job with the post office for a few months now. And, it's good that you tried it. It is. Because you wouldn't know if you didn't try, right, friends?
That is true.
We just did an episode on that. All right. Well, let's jump into journaling. What say you, Cathrine? Why is journaling a good practice? And what are you reading from over there?
Yeah, you found this article from Intermountain Healthcare, 5 powerful health benefits of journaling. And what it says is the number one thing, at least that's what they put first, is it reduces stress. And we all know that stress can be damaging, to your physical, mental, and emotional health. And it says that it's proven journaling is an incredible stress management tool, a good for you habit that lessens impact of physical stressors on your health. So,
isn't that interesting that just writing things down on paper can reduce your stress?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And these people did a study. These are scientific people. This is a medical,
Right.
It's a medical thing.
It's not just us saying it, folks.
Right. It comes from people that study.
Yeah.
And what does it say? How did they conduct it?
How did they conduct it?
Right. Well, I'm reading it here. I'll just say it.
Yeah. What do you mean?
15 to 20 minutes a day, 3 to 5 times over the course of a 4-month period. Okay. So 15 to 20 minutes a day, 3 to 5 times over the course of a 4-month period was enough to lower your blood pressure and improve liver functionality.
I wouldn't have thought that. The liver
Same.
function. Yeah.
Plus, writing about stressful experiences can help you manage them in a healthy way. I do think that it helps you when you get it down on paper. I know that there's a cathartic thing that happens when I write things down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets those little, my sister calls it, what does she call it? Like the rat wheel or something? You know, like when you're constantly thinking
Gerbil
about
wheel?
stuff. Yeah, like the gerbil running in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I have found that writing stuff down helps to calm that feeling.
Yeah. Well, The Artist's Way book, the author who wrote that, she said that even just a brain dump
Right.
is in it. Like, it doesn't even have to make sense. Just dump whatever's on your mind, from your mind to your hand and onto paper.
Right. So when you think about journaling and the benefits of it, there is actually a benefit to it. It's not for nothing.
Right.
And nobody really has to read it either. It can be just for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It says here, try establishing journaling as a pre-bedtime meditation habit to help you unwind and de-stress. I can't imagine writing right before bedtime.
Well, I've never done it right before bedtime. I've always kind of done it first thing in the morning.
Me too.
However, I think it would be worthy of a little experiment. Why not try it?
Well, I might try it because I have trouble sleeping anyway, so why not?
Try it for a week and see if it helps.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second bullet point says improves your immune function. And it says, believe it or not, expressive writing can strengthen your immunity and decrease your risk of illness. Those who journal boast improved immune system functioning. And it says it strengthens immune cells.
Wow.
Yeah. As well as lessened symptoms of asthma and rheumatoid arthritis. Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No kidding.
Who knew that writing would be so beneficial to your physical health?
Not to that. I would not have thought to that extent.
You know what it is, though? It's interesting to me that the human body, right? It's not just the physical. It's our emotional, our mental, our spiritual. We're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't it matter? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess all the way to rheumatoid arthritis, though. Rheumatoid arthritis.
How do you say that, Catherine?
Toid.
Funny. Well, I mean, okay, so they did the studies, and these are scientists. So they must be sharing from what they've learned. Hopefully they're not making it up, but we are just people, and we've both been journalists, if you want to call it that, or journalers, or however you say it. Mm-hmm. And we have found some benefit to it. All right. What's the third one?
Keeps memory sharp. Ooh, another thing to keep your memory sharp.
Yeah, very good.
I like that a lot. Journaling keeps your brain in tip-top shape. Not only does it boost memory and comprehension, it also increases working memory capacity, which may reflect improved cognitive processing.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want that?
Right.
All right.
Very good. It boosts your mood. Want more sunshine in your life? Try journaling. A unique social and behavior outcome of journaling is this. It can improve your mood and give you a greater sense of overall emotional well-being and happiness. I could feel that when I'm journaling.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I just journaled. I don't actually remember sitting down and doing it. Obviously I did because I have it here. But now I do it in the mornings, as I said, and it's just therapeutic. I like to start my day out that way. It does boost my mood.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Next thing, strengthens emotional functions. Related to mood is how journaling benefits overall emotional health. As journaling habits are developed, benefits become long-term, meaning that diarists...
Oh, that must be the proper term.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I've not seen that.
Yeah.
And when I came across it, I'm like, uh-oh, how am I going to say that one? Meaning that diarists become more in tune with their health by connecting with their inner needs and desires.
I do think that that is a good practice. Just sort of kind of get a rein on your emotions and what's going on.
Yeah.
And I did quite a bit of journaling when I was... Well, that's how I came up with my book, was from journaling. I journaled a lot when the kids were little.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I felt like it was my sanity.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and your degree is in journalism.
Yeah, that's
So
totally
you're drawn
different.
to that.
Well, writing, yes, but
Yeah.
journalism is quite different than
Right.
journaling.
But yeah, I can see where it's kind of woven in though for you.
Well, journalism, especially back in the 80s when I was trained, in school, it was more like stick to the facts, man. You know what I mean? It was just like a reporting.
Yeah.
But journaling, in my view, is more emotion based, and what you're feeling, and kind of what you're going through, that type of thing. Where maybe now journalism is more emotion based.
Yeah, I was just thinking
seems
that.
like it's a little crazy now.
Yeah. Not just the facts, ma'am.
No.
Provides a greater sense of confidence.
That's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting.
How would journaling bring about a greater sense of confidence?
I don't know, but it goes on to say journaling can help in the management of personal adversity and change.
Well, go ahead.
And emphasize important patterns and growth in life.
Perhaps it helps you just to sort things out inside of your mind, because if you have a situation going on, like let's say, for example, there's something chaotic happening in your home, like you're raising 5 boys, something like that.
Yeah.
And you sit down with just you and your thoughts and a piece of paper and a pen and you're writing. And oftentimes when I journal, I make it a prayer. So I say, Dear Lord, or Heavenly Father, this is what's going on. Help me to cope with it or be strong or whatever. When one is doing that, whether or not you make it a religious experience, or a spiritual one, even if you're just recording, how you feel about something, I think it's kind of like a therapy session with yourself. You're just acknowledging, I have these feelings. This situation is happening and this is how I feel about it. And that, I think, can bring some structure to, okay, we're acknowledging this is this.
Right. It even says here on that note, research even shows that expressive writing can help individuals develop more structured, adaptive, and integrated schemes about themselves, others, and the world. What's more, journaling unlocks and engages right-brained creativity, which gives you access to your full brain power.
Well, that's all over the Artist's Way. I mean, that's what Artist's Way is all about.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it fosters growth.
Well, those are 5 pretty darn good benefits.
Yes.
To journaling.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say about the benefits of it?
Well, I would say that just looking back.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right. Because that's what we were doing before we even, I wanted to say got on the air, but we're not on the air.
Yeah.
But when people record their day-to-day activities or maybe big events, whatever it is, it's a piece of history. And to look back on it, whether it's your own history or, someone whatever, it's a good way to kind of reflect on those moments.
Yeah, not only that, but it puts you in the room. Reading our mother's journals from the 60s puts us in the room with our mothers.
Yeah.
And in your case, you weren't born yet when your mother was writing these things. And in my case, I was born, but I don't recall it because I was too little.
Yeah.
So it puts you in the room. So it gives you a whole different perspective of what your mother was enduring, going through, the good, the bad, the, all around, whatever was written there. And so that's our whole life is just like little days all strung together in a row.
Yeah. It's history.
Yeah.
Come to life. Yeah. It's really cool.
Love it. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. No.
Okay. So let's move on to point 2, which is how to get started with a journal. What kind of advice, if I were to come to you and say, Cathrine, I've never journaled before in my life, what would you say if I wanted to get started?
I would say find a spot or a place where you like to be. Do that first. And if you can get away from distractions, do that. If you can't, then just do your best to relax.
Yeah.
And I would say also just get yourself, even if you don't have, if you want to start right now and you don't have a notepad or any kind of little book to write in, just get some paper and put your thoughts down. Get yourself a cup of coffee or tea, whatever it is you like, and just start a brain dump.
Yeah.
Just start writing whatever is on your mind. And it doesn't have to even really make sense, but that's where you can start. That's a starting point.
I love that idea. And I like the idea of creating like a little special place for this to happen. I mean, I know I'm like this and you are too. And maybe some of our listeners could relate to it. If you have like a little special little sitting chair, you know, with a special blanket that you love. I mean, I sound like I'm 2 years old, but
no, but it's true. I do.
Yeah. And create like this pleasant, that's my chair. That's my journal. That's and I like cute journals. So
I do too.
If I was saying, if somebody was coming to me and saying, I want to get started with journaling, one of the things I would say is get yourself a really cute journal and a brand new pen.
Yeah, brand new pen, something that
flows and writes really well.
And you can even get cute journals, and I mean, even at the pharmacy, like Walgreens or CVS, almost everywhere sells them.
Yeah. And then I think another little tip that I would give to somebody who says, I'd like to do it, but I've never done it. I would say, try it for 3 weeks straight. Try it with some consistency. And give yourself a time limit, like maybe 15 minutes a day. Maybe not every single day because that might get a little bit too much for 3 weeks, but maybe 15 minutes a day, at least 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, when I took the Artist Way class, I knew a gal that when she did her time of journaling, she would, she bought herself like a quirky candle like statue thing, and it was quirky, but it was neat because she took it out and she'd light the candle.
Oh, that's cool. Ron's here, he'll get that.
Oh, okay.
Somebody ringing the doorbell. It's probably a package.
Probably. Anyway, she would light this candle for the time while she was journaling, and then when she was finished, she would blow it out, and that was like her little ritual.
That's kind of a really good idea. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, there's another suggestion then. You know, put a little candle next to your favorite chair with your comfy. You know, some people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing?"
Well, and what I like to do is in my favorite spot, I set myself up so that I have my tissues, I have all the things that I need, and I'm right-handed, so I make sure that I have a place to set my coffee or water or whatever it is right there ready, and I'm just comfortable. I think that's the main point, is just get comfortable.
Yeah. And the thing that I like to do with journaling, and this is just a personal preference, so there are many ways that people could journal, but I like to write it as like a letter. And I like the letter to be to God. And so it's like a dear Lord prayer.
Yeah.
This is what's happening and this is what I need help with.
Yeah.
And that way I'm sort of like given the facts of what's going on, but then I'm also kind of sharing the need, like what I'm feeling I'm lacking in, and just laying it before the Lord. So
confessing.
Well, yeah, I definitely do the Acts prayer too. Cathrine and I are very, very well versed in the Acts prayer system, which is affirmation. What is it called? Not affirmation. Adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. And it's just a method of prayer that we learned. Well, I learned it back in the 80s. And then I brought it to Cathrine and to some other gals, and we've been doing that for many years now. Yeah. And that is a great way to do it too. Just go through and say, Dear Lord, and list all of the attributes of God that you appreciate, or acknowledging that he is who he is. Then go through and share your confession, your gratitude, And then this is what I need.
Yeah, that's how I do my journaling. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't always have to be in that order because God, you can throw it up and he'll unscramble it.
Yeah.
But that's how I do it. I kind of weave it in, and that's it.
Love it. All right. So we've covered why it's a good practice, which was great. And by the way, I'll put that link in the show notes if you really want to read the whole article. It'll be there. We've also covered how to get started with the journal. Now let's share a little bit from our own journaling stories.
Yeah, let's do that. I just want to add one more thing.
Sure.
That if someone is on a very tight budget, and you can get like a notebook for $1 or 99 cents, and you can use that, and they're cute too.
Yeah,
So.
you could make your own. You could use, little scraps of stuff at home.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you want to go first?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I will read just a few entries that I have from mine, and I'll read a couple from my mom's.
Okay. So this
well.
one is from your childhood.
Yeah, this
What
is
year?
my little pink gingham. I did not write the year, but I was in, let's see, how old would I have been? 6th grade, like about 9?
No, in
10?
6th grade, you are...
11?
No, you're like 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11-ish.
So we had just gone to England.
12. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. You're back from England.
Yeah, we
Okay.
had just gone, and I loved it. And I think this is what's so funny. I say in here, I spelled finally wrong for one thing. I say, finally, school is out, and almost everybody bought a t-shirt for people to sign, even me. I just couldn't wait to get in the junior high building. Would be with the 7th and 8th graders. So then I pepper this throughout the diary. I can't wait to be with the 7th and 8th graders. And then I write about the summer. And then I get to the end. Summer vacation is over now and school will be starting. I can't wait to be with the 7th and 8th graders. I will be in the junior high. And I've got this exclamation point. And it's hilarious because then the next entry is, I joined volleyball for a school. And I don't like the 7th and 8th graders.
All of that build up for
all of that.
just disappointment.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then I seem so different as an 8th grader. I read on and I sound like a teenager.
Isn't that great though? Because we are just so wet behind the ears. We're just developing and. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Cool.
Right. That's it.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything to share from my childhood. I did keep a diary like that. I don't know where it is. I don't even know if I still have it.
Aw.
Yeah, but I do have my mother's diary. As I said, this is from 1967 until 1969. Actually, it goes on into the 70s now that I'm looking at this a little bit more closely. But on the cover of the diary, it says, "To the Moran children, hope you enjoy reading this." So this was, we discovered this many years ago, and then we lost it for decades. And then my sister and I refound it up in the attic of my dad's garage after he passed away.
How neat.
Yeah. So here, this is from, I must have been 2 years old. And my mom says, Tracy's favorite expression is, "I want a wink of water." It says, she talks with a German accent.
That's hilarious.
I know.
Where'd you get that at 2 years old?
Well, I was a bit of a drama queen, Catherine.
Was?
Okay, I am a bit of a drama queen. All right, and then the stories just go on and on. I mean, my mom had 3 children within 3 years, boom, 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 3 kids right away. And I'm the youngest of the 3. And then it says here, "If you really want to get a laugh, you should be around here when the baby fills her pants."
And the baby is you.
It's me. Yeah. And it says, "Shane and Kelly, my brother and my sister, carry on a scene of holding their nose and crying, 'Tracy smells rotten.'" Okay, everybody poops, Catherine.
That's great stuff.
And then I've got another one here that says, now this is as we carry on, we're all maturing a little bit. Shane and Kelly are certainly not selfish children at this age anyway. Tracy, on the other hand,
Tracy on the other
hand, and then I don't know why it says this, but it says makes a little effect in order to get anything out of her. So I don't know why the language is like that.
I know. I was just
weird.
thinking that sounds quite like
proper.
Proper. It sounds a little bit oldie worldy.
Yeah. All I know is that I was a selfish child. All right. A couple more. Here's one that it says, let's see, where did I want to start this one? Tracy was watching me shave my legs one day, and she wanted to know if I was raking them. Oh, Mom's raking her legs.
Oh, my gosh.
I think I've got one more. Is it one or two? Hold on a second. I don't know what that one is. Okay. Poor Tracy. I don't think she will ever be able to stop crying.
It's like a premonition.
I was a real crier. I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I was a real whiny baby. And then finally, the last entry was from 1974. And it's my mother's handwriting throughout this whole journal.
Oh, yeah.
But then the very last entry, it says 1974, and you can tell it's a child who wrote it. Mm-hmm. And I can guarantee you it wasn't me who wrote it.
Well, right, because it's about you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the handwriting of either my brother or my sister, and I plan to find out who wrote it. Tracy is still a big crybaby.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
I love it. That's such a sibling thing to say.
It is.
So
it was
it's all
probably
there.
my brother.
Yeah. It's all there written. That's what's, it's history. And it's written down. That's awesome.
Well, and we laughed and laughed. And I've read through this a couple times now. My sister has the original diary, and then she had them duplicated with some kind of a printing thing so that we could all have a copy of it. Mm-hmm. And I've read through it a couple times and just laughed out loud.
It's great.
Because it's real life, and it's quite funny.
Yeah.
But then there are also some sad moments in there too, like when John F. Kennedy was shot. My mother wrote that down, mm-hmm. and she was concerned about her children. She had this. My brother was born at the time. He was just a little guy, so she was concerned.
Yeah. Definitely. I can remember journaling about when 9/11 happened.
Right.
And my firstborn, Patrick, was only 5 years old, and I was concerned about the impact that it would be on him anyway, but I wrote it down because I have another journal as well. When, in fact, in the beginning of it, I say that this is for my children. And at the time, I only had Patrick and Emily.
Yeah.
And I said that I just want them to know what life was like when they were little. Yeah. And it goes on from there.
Yeah. Well, good idea then to keep a journal. Did you want to read anything from your mom?
I was going to. Yeah. Just some fun. It's fun because it was so long ago. It was 1962. So she would have been 19 years old. And just a couple entries we'll read here.
How old in 62?
She would have been 19.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Wow. She was born in 43.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Did you doubt that?
Well, it just seemed like she was pretty young. You know what I mean? Like I thought that your mom was more close to the age of my mom, but my mom would have been older. I mean, my mom died a long time ago, but I was just like, wow, goes fast.
Yeah. Yeah. She says, so this is in July 7th, 1962. Went on a date with John to Coleman's. Enjoyed myself apart from the big row we had. She's English, so row is like an argument, I guess. Brenda gave me her rail fare for Belgium. And she says on another entry, I think it's hilarious the way she's talking, because it's in England, so it kind of gives me an insight to her life there. She says, it was boiling in our room today, which boiling for her in England probably wasn't that hot. She says, it was boiling in our room today. Tonight, I stayed in to have a bath and wash my hair. Also did some washing. You know, it just sounds so English.
Mm-hmm.
Here she says, went down Vic tonight. Had a lovely time. I was dancing with Mick most of the night. Irene was with Paco. Saw Roger down there on his own. And she mentions this Roger a few times that he's on his own. So she must have had some kind of, you know, heart for this guy that was all on his own.
Yeah.
She talks a couple times about, well, I stayed in. I just watched the telly tonight. And here's one that kind of made me chuckle. She said she's on holiday now. And she says, the lads here are fab. Today we went to Dijon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. We met 3 French lads from St. Tropez. That night, I went with a lad named Tony. Anyway, so it's just little entries like that are just a fun insight, you know, lad and holiday and things like that.
Yeah, and just picturing your mother as a 19-year-old woman, you know, traipsing around Europe, going to dances and having a social life and all that. And the diary that Cathrine was just reading from is very similar to the one to her childhood diary in terms of its size and shape, and it has the little lock on it.
Yeah.
So lots of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was great.
Yeah.
And we have a little scripture to share.
We do.
Because we always do. We always finish up our little podcast with a little some encouragement. And Cathrine, today you've got it over there. So what say you?
It's from Revelation 21:5, and it says, He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true.
Yeah.
And that was Jesus.
That's very cool.
Yes.
You know, I like that, what you just read. I am making everything new. When you think about it, today is new things are happening all the time because our life is always moving forward. We're always learning, growing, having new experiences. And it is kind of fun to write these things down and then, like we said earlier, to reflect.
Exactly right.
On those things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. We have a call to action. If you have not been journaling, we're just going to encourage you to try it.
Yeah, get going on it.
Just create yourself a little spot, grab a journal, and just give yourself some sort of a time frame. Maybe you want to say, I'm going to journal for the next 3 weeks or 3 months, or go on, you know, I don't know, a week, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it could become just a natural habit after a short amount of time. You never know.
It could. I forgot to write down what our next episode is. Do you recall?
It is on, no, I don't recall, actually.
We have another episode coming next week. And we have a list of episodes.
The hobbies.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you do on your off time?
Oh. Great. Well, let's see. We started a podcast. That's one thing.
Do you not like that topic? When I read it before, you didn't say anything.
I don't think it registered. I don't think it registered because I didn't remember it.
Well, the one we have after that is weird obsessions. Gross obsessions. Should we do that?
It'll be either hobbies or obsessions.
Yeah.
Or maybe your hobby is your obsession. Either way. Well, you've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
I'm still Cathrine.
We'll see you next time.